see that there are equatorial Pacific warming and cooling trends known as El Nino and La Nina. The warming trend, if we look at the first one, the global picture, El Nino is the focus of today's talk, and it's the warming trend, while the La Nina, we're just exiting a La Nina event, are the cooling trends. While it doesn't influence a large part of the world, it does seem to have a significant influence on temperature, which we'll see in the next slide. Now, I've created this slide. The red spikes at the bottom are the El Nino index, and they indicate the strong El Nino events. The line at the top is the satellite global temperature record, and you can see that virtually all of these El Nino events drive global temperature spikes in temperature. The only exception, interestingly, is 1991 to 95. We had strong El Nino. It looks like it was canceled out with the eruption of Mount Pinatubo and Mount Hudson, which have a cooling effect. You'll note that each of the temperature spikes, it's about a 6-month delay between the peak El Nino and peak temperature. If we compare this on the next slide to CO2, atmospheric CO2 levels, you see that while CO2 continues to increase at a pretty steady rate, these spikes don't seem to be driven at all by CO2-driven warming. Also of note, the last big El Nino event was in 2016, and we've been again in a La Nina cooling period, and we've actually seen a flat to slightly declining temperature globally. And what I've done here is taken a look at the El Nino index, cumulative view of this. That's at the top, the green line at the top. The temperature record is at the bottom. This is the HAGCRUIT 5 database. Please note that we were in a cooling trend from the mid-40s until the late 70s, all the while CO2 levels increased. But that period from the late 40s to the late 70s were La Nina-dominated cooling. And then just as we started getting into El Nino-driven period, we went into this warming period from the late 1970s until today. So that's a background there of the relationship between these big Pacific, equatorial Pacific warming and cooling trends.